So the sequel to Demon's Souls just recently hit shelves, and the game lives up to expectations regarding its difficulty. Well, even though a bunch of smartasses will claim it's only fair. But I know for a fact that many gamers in distress have had a rough start with Dark Souls, and some of them even gave up. Now that's when my alarm goes on and tells me it's time to fuck you.
Fuck you!
For your information, if you are feeling lonely in a game that's way too hard and you can't even remember the last time you've been facked, just follow me on Twitter and ask me a question at Benzai_TGWTG. But you know what you're here for, so let's fack.
Dear Benzai, I'm like an 18-year-old cheerleader, and I was wondering which character class would be a good starter for me in Dark Souls, and why would that be? Love, Amber.
Oh, hello Amber. Nice to know that gamer girls are not just a fantasy. Now for your problem, I would personally recommend something that I saw on Twitter from my good friend Quitoria, Pyromancer. He starts off with an axe and a good enough shield, can easily grow into a tough strength-based warrior, and the fireballs you get from the start are extremely useful to get rid of the first few bosses and tougher enemies, and yet this class remains fast enough to get behind enemies for occasional backstabs. Actually, here's a quick tip for you aspiring pyros. When you first step into the depth, I recommend quickly taking this shortcut by rolling under the arcs to quickly find a bonfire, which then makes a great respawn to challenge the butcher guy guarding the corridor, as he's guarding the entry to the room where the master pyromancer is, from whom you definitely want to learn combustion, because once you're behind practically any boss, spamming combustion will do you a great service.
But Benzai, before accessing the depths, I need to beat that mean Capra demon. But how do I do that when I'm playing on my own, in the dark, wearing lingerie?
Well, don't you worry, little Amber. Benzai is here to help. First of all, make sure not to put any pants or sweater on. Then equip some firebombs you can just buy from the first merchant here, or just anything that can attack from a distance. And once you enter the fog, try to slalom between the demon and his dogs, rush right upstairs, and then onto the arc. The dogs will follow you, and I recommend using a sword to get rid of them at close range, because axes, for example, will likely bump into the wall. Once only the demon is left, just spam the shit out of him with anything you got. Watch out for the occasional jump attacks that you still might be able to dodge if you try sticking to the corner. Good luck, baby! One last tip is to try as much as possible to secure a path between the nearest bonfire and the boss you want to face, so each time you die, it's not as much of a chore to get back to it. I even recommend to alternate between the light and heavy equipment, so you can easily outrun the zombies on your way to the boss.
Benzai, I've been cursed after falling into a pit, and now I'm stuck with half of my life bar. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Hugs and kisses, Bethany.
Oh damn, I flipped the table the first time I got cursed. But actually, being cursed is not the end of the world. And falling into that pit in the depth with the creepy frogs is in no way a problem, as if you search around the area, you'll find a rare ring, restoring your HP every time you kill an enemy, letting you save some Estus flasks for the bosses. And also know that if you get cursed twice, you'll actually end up with a quarter of your original life bar. Much later in the game, a healer can help you out, but at this point, you can go up to the tower when you should have met the gargoyles and buy an item from that creepy priest guy. But make sure you don't waste it. Only use it when you know you're never coming back to that creepy place with frogs cursing you. And no, I don't mean Paris subway. And maybe even wait until you've been cursed twice, because the item will cure you entirely.
Hi, Ben. Huge fan of your accent. I mean, your show. Could you please fact me about that naughty dragon in the depths? Thanks in advance, and here's my phone number, just in case.
And saved. So yeah, the dragon of the depth. Well, let's look at this little schematic. I recommend using your faster build so you can outrun him very easily. Stay away from him as long as his mouth is open, and even then, unless you have some long-range attack, wait until he moves forward and hits a wall. But yet stay close enough to attack him during the few seconds he'll be standing there. Keep in mind that he can kill you just by walking over you, so it's all about being careful. Enchant your sword with lightning power if you can, and go for two-handed strikes for maximum damage. It's a damn impressive boss, but you should be fine, baby.
My dear little French fry, my Estus flasks aren't all that great. What can I do about it at my level? P.S. Why did you stop calling me after that night in Reno?
Oh, Pumpkin, to answer the first part of your question, just know that you can improve your Estus flask even if you're low level. Just make sure you have some heavy magic at your disposal, and that you're either cursed or have some transient curses with you. And just go down the path behind the Firelink Shrine, where you can take the elevator to reach the ruins. Now that is a spooky place, but if you go forward and carefully use your magic, you should be able to get rid of the few ghosts blocking your way. And once you get your feet in the water, just try to find a narrow path you can barely see. And at the end of it, you'll find an item to give the Firekeeper to boost your flasks. Well, as for the second part of your question, well, you see, babe...
I've reached Blighttown, but there's a bunch of fat, gooey trolls blocking my way. P.S. No homo, but you're pretty sexy.
Well, just like a lot of strong enemies in this game, you're not really supposed to face them with your standard weapons. Like a lot of enemies in this game, you're not really supposed to face them with a sword and shield, but more cheat your way around a level. When you first enter Blighttown, the best way is to aggro these bastards, and go up the ladder, then stick to that spot. The AI is so stupid they'll happily fall to their death. And then you can move on to the rest of the level. There is another bunch up the scaffolding on the other side of Blighttown. Same here, make sure you have your faster build, aggro these guys, then run to the ladder and wait down the ladder. And just watch these mofos fall to their doom. Oh, and by the way, thanks. You have good taste.
There's a bunch of ginormous cats in the dark room's garden, and they're tough as hell.
Well, I know, right? Run for your life is my advice. No, okay, I'm kidding. Here again, use your faster build, and run to the trees on the other side. They'll try to follow you with a spin dash, but the trees will block their way. And then, they'll just stalk backward without reacting much to what you'll do until they reach their original position. That's when you strike. Either with some pyromancy, some magic, long-range weapons, or even a heavy strike with a two-handed weapon, as they'll be completely oblivious while they're walking backward. Just make sure you're ready to run back behind the trees at any time. Now, ladies and younger ladies, if you feel like getting fact in Dark Souls again, just say so in the comments section. Because I'll admit we've only covered the first part of the game, and there's definitely more material to give a fuck about. See you next time, my lovelies, on Benza.com.com, blisterthumbs.net, and of course, badguywiththeglasses.com.